This is KARE 11 Sunrise.
He is without question the best running back in our game and truly, in my mind, the MVP of our league.
Strong praise from the Minnesota Vikings head coach after an impressive game from Adrian Peterson helps the Vikings get into the playoffs. And on that note, we'd like to welcome everybody to this KARE 11 Sunrise edition on this final day of 2012. It is the 31st, Monday the 31st of December. I'm Tim McNiff.
I'm Kim Inslee, and it's great to have you with us this morning. Some of you just waking up early because, I don't know, you want to. Maybe you're going to work, maybe you're traveling. Sven's here. It's going to be a chilly one if you're going outside tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be sub-zero by midnight already.
And so does the map. Take a look at it. Things are in the green, clean and green for the entire system right now. Things are moving along quite well, Kim and Tim, system-wide.
Appreciate it,
Pete.
Thank you.
It is part celebration this morning and part looking ahead to the next game for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yesterday's big win against the Packers at the Metrodome vaults the Vikings into the playoffs. The Vikes, they had to win yesterday to stay alive. Green Bay fighting for a bye. Made for a playoff-like atmosphere. The teams trading leads throughout the game. Actually, the Vikings led really through most of this game. The Packers did tie it late. Packers get even at 34 all on this pass right here. Jordy Nelson from Aaron Rodgers with about 3 minutes to go, but Christian Ponder drives the Vikings down the field, aided by Adrian Peterson, and the rookie Pro Bowler Blair Walsh wins it. Vikes win 37-34. They will now face the Packers again next Saturday in the wild card game, but the question is, does rivalry play into it?
It really doesn't matter who we're playing. We're happy to be playing this game. We're looking forward to going and getting a win, no matter who the team is or who the opponent is. Just so happens to be Green Bay. But we're not going in there.
It does indeed happen to make it Green Bay, and that does make it a little more special. You can watch that game next Saturday night at 7 right here on KARE 11. And as we look ahead to that game, we wanted to know, who do you think will win? Results so far in our biased Facebook poll show. A lot of Viking fans out there thinking the Vikes will beat the Packers again. And 91 to the 239 say the Packers will win on their home turf. Adrian Peterson celebrating after becoming just the 7th player in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards in a season. Now, AD did fall just 9 yards short of breaking Eric Dickerson's single-season mark of 2,108 yards set back in 1984. Peterson still seems pleased, tweeting around midnight, quote, "I'm on my way to Poorhouse, Minneapolis to celebrate," going out there to share his wealth with others and bringing others up on this last day of 2012. Good to share in the victor's spoils.
Yeah, there are libations at the Poorhouse. So. Yeah. An Uptown restaurant is asking for your help for people who lived in a condo that went up in flames in Uptown Friday. If you saw it on TV, it was hard to forget. 100-year-old building on Lake Street destroyed in Friday morning's fire. Amore Victoria now, though, is collecting some basic necessities for the people who lived there and lost everything in that fire. The restaurant also is planning a silent auction and a benefit. That happens January 9th, and that goes from 6 to midnight. Again, that's Amore Victoria on Lake Street. Minneapolis police are looking for help to find whoever stabbed a man to death. Officers say they found a man with stab wounds Saturday in an apartment near 58th Street East and 33rd Avenue South, just north of MSP. The man later died at HCMC. Police say they don't believe there's any risk to the general public, but at this point they don't have any suspects in custody. As we count down to the new year tonight, we might also be counting down to some tough financial news.
We are now, of course, less than 24 hours away from falling off the so-called fiscal cliff. There is still no deal to avoid the massive tax hikes and spending cuts that will go into effect automatically. The Senate will go back to work in a matter of hours. There has been some movement over the weekend, but lawmakers say there still is a big difference between the two sides.
The consequences of this are too high for the American people to be engaged in a political messaging campaign. I'm interested in getting a result here.
I think it's been very hard for Speaker Boehner and Republican Leader McConnell to accept the fact that taxes on the wealthiest Americans should go up a little bit.
Today, all hands will be on deck as lawmakers scramble to reach a deal in the remaining hours.
Milk prices will not be doubling this week thanks to lawmakers agreeing to extend the farm bill. That bill getting bipartisan support in the House and the Senate Agriculture Committees yesterday has not gone to a full vote. If it passes, it means we won't go back to a 50-year-old formula for calculating milk prices. 2013 brings some good news and bad news for job seekers. More than a quarter of employers surveyed by CareerBuilder.com say they will add full-time permanent positions in the new year. That's an increase over 2012. 9% say they will slash headcount.
Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton is under observation at a New York hospital this morning. The secretary being treated for a blood clot stemmed from a concussion she sustained earlier this month. Secretary Clinton is being treated with anticoagulants as doctors monitor her condition through at least tomorrow. Funeral services are to be held today for a fallen firefighter in New York. 19-year-old Thomas Kuchowska was one of 2 firefighters shot and killed during an ambush on Christmas Eve while responding to a fire. Webster police say the suspect deliberately set those fires to set a trap for first responders, then killed himself during a shootout with police. Time is now 6:07. 25% of Minnesotans are now considered to be obese.
Sobering statistic that can affect your life. Now is the time to commit to a healthier lifestyle. A lot of people do that around the New Year's. And it's Motivation Monday today. Chris Freitag is here to help you keep those fitness goals in 2013. It's a tough thing to do, but she has some great advice. Brian?
Yeah, hey, they have given me some spikes for my feet, and we are going to take a climb up one of the towers here, the ice castles at the Mall of America, and they open up to the public today. Find out some fun festivities planned around the ice castles coming up.
Boy, they'll get to really expand that castle tonight, too. Headed below 0 for your New Year's Eve. Bundle up. 13 right now, and temperatures will drop through the day. Winds will be picking up more, too. Full forecast is just ahead.
Well, this will come as no surprise to the kids. Playtime is important, according to a new policy statement from the American Academy of Pediatrics. The group says recess time at schools shouldn't be cut, nor should it be a substitute for physical education classes. Schools nationwide have cut recess, though, in an effort to squeeze in more academics or save money. The new policy says recess offers cognitive, physical, and social benefits, probably not policy that the schools have to follow, but a policy that is strongly recommended by the Academy of Pediatrics.
It took me years out of elementary school to get used to the fact that I was not going to have my favorite time of the day.
When you went into middle school or junior high at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I look forward to that every day.
Sven's still enjoying recess out in the
Yeah,
backyard.
you'd hate to be watching those kids if you didn't have recess towards the end of the day.
And teachers
right?
will tell you that.
Doesn't
yeah.
everybody need that?
Yes.
Everybody needs that little break. And we're going to get a break from warmer temperatures, officially 7 below. So there you go. It's going to get our attention tomorrow morning for those people that will be awake early tomorrow.
Indeed. A lot of people will be taking part in athletic physical contests, whether going in the water or running the Commitment Day 5K. It's going to be a real
Usually seems cold that day.
I'm just thinking my dogs are going to go outside and come back a little faster than they normally do.
That's true.
Thank
you,
Sven.
Yep.
Pete Bush has a Sunrise Drive. How's that shaping up?
Well, so far, so good out there. The metro highways have picked up with some of the volume congestion into St. Paul this morning. So since we started, it's been a calm and easy rush hour.
Let's keep it that way, right? Thank you, Peter. Well, beginning today, you can walk through the iced castle being created outside the Mall of America.
Because it's not cold enough. In addition to the castles themselves, there are activities for families as well. Brian Pyatt is in the midst of it in the north lot of MOA with more on the inner workings of this castle that's growing as we speak, right?
It is definitely growing as we speak. Yeah, so they've given me some little crampons, as they call them, the spikes for my feet. We've been able to climb up here. We have Brent Christensen with us. He's the creator of all of this. And yeah, the goal is to make these even taller than what they are right now. How's that going to work?
Well, these we grow them right off the ground, right from the beginning, and we continue to grow them as long as the weather's good. So hopefully we get a good long cold winter.
Which is usually a pretty sure bet in Minnesota.
Yeah, usually. We've got them open now, and they're beautiful. We'll keep growing them through the winter if we have a good cold spell.
You know, you can come out here, you can enjoy the ice castles themselves, but there's also a lot of other festivities going on. What do you guys all have planned?
Well, we have ice princesses that will be here. We have concessions. There's delicious little mini donuts and hot chocolate. And the fire breathers were here last night. I'm not sure if they're going to be here tonight, but that was a lot of fun. And we're also working on a snow pit that may or may not be ready tonight. like a snow play area. Well, we're working to try to get that finished. Our snow machine didn't work.
Snowmen and stuff like that for the little kids.
We're actually building some big snowmen. We may have them on site, but they're huge. We got these guys that they're called Snowmen, the company, and they make these big, gigantic snowmen with this machine.
Oh, cool.
Those are in the works. We haven't had a lot of snow to work with, but it's a fun, and we got some beautiful fire pits for warming up around, and it's just a lot of fun. We'll have music, so
good way to come and really enjoy the winter that gets thrown at us every year here in Minnesota. So it opens up today here at the Mall of America. It's going to be open at least through February 20th, and I think we have the information to show you here. The tickets to get in here, $10 for adults, $5 for kids. Again, we're going to have that all that information at KARE11.com. And I'm going to try to get down safely, Kim and Tim. Hopefully I don't fall down. I got my spikes. But coming up, we're going to show you these really cool ice lanterns that you can actually take home with you and have them at your house. We're going to show you those coming up here in the next half hour.
Just slide off that thing. Have fun.
Yeah, I'm going to jump. Here we go.
Be careful.
I will.
Deploy your ice parachute. If your New Year's Eve plans includes venturing out into the cold and maybe enjoying some adult beverages, do not forget to plan a safe way to get back home.
Yeah, we have the details on a free ride home coming up. It's also time to set those resolutions. Christine Freitag, she's here. She's going to be talking about jumping in head first and actually staying on track this year. That's coming up next.
Well, the Times Square crew ready to go for tonight's big countdown to the new year. They tested the 12-foot, 12,000-pound crystal ball yesterday. Wow. It's covered with Waterford crystals, tens of thousands of colored LED lights. It's going to be gorgeous. Are you ready to take on your New Year's resolutions? Time magazine released a list of the most common and broken resolutions. Top 5, get out of debt and save money, eat healthier and diet, learn something new, and quit smoking. And topping the list, lose weight and get fit. It's Motivation Monday. Chris Freitag is here.
Be clear about what you want to do. Don't make it complicated.
Well, we won't make it complicated because after the show, we will put this advice on KARE11.com in the Sunrise section, and also the news tab as well is where you're going to find the Sunrise section. Thank you.
It's going to be a good year. 2013, here we come.
It is. And if you're looking for a little more inspiration, you might want to continue watching this morning. Lacrosse news anchor Jennifer Livingston, I know you remember her. She was on the Today Show, and she'll be on the 7 o'clock hour this morning with a segment about women who inspired us in 2012. She inspired a conversation on bullying and weight issues after she responded on air to an email commenting about her weight. Sven, you have the forecast that'll inspire us to bundle up.
Yeah, you better, or you're going to pay the price. Temperatures dropping through the day today, 8 by this afternoon, pretty steady. Then once that sun sets, it's going to be cold tonight, headed sub-zero for the first time since mid-January. Get ready. If you ring in the new year, I hope it's inside. Nowhere outside tonight.
It's going to be interesting if you're going elsewhere.
Yeah, it's going to be cold.
Thank you, sir. Well, New Year's Eve can look a lot different through the eyes of, say, a bartender.
Okay, we're going to get one server's perspective coming up. Plus, a special celebration tonight to mark 150 years of freedom, a document that changed the landscape of the country, along with your headlines still ahead.
And Ben Lieber's here. Go to the KARE11 Facebook page to chat with Ben live, and we'll be checking in with Ben just a little bit to hear what you're talking about concerning the Vikings and the Packers.
You're watching KARE11 Sunrise.
Well, happy New Year's Eve on this Monday morning, December 31st. You're looking at Times Square. People are waking up there. It's 7:30 there, and business as usual. Maybe a few people starting to stake out their spot. It's going to be cold there today, though.
You know what I call New York? City that never sleeps.
That's good,
Thought
Tim.
of that one.
Glad you thought of that. Yeah. I'm Kim Inslee. Thanks for joining us this morning.
I'm Tim McNiff. Sven Sundgaard sitting right next to us. If your New Year's Eve plans include like an outdoor tradition, like maybe you're one of those polar plungers tomorrow morning, or you're going to run in the Commitment 5K out of the Metrodome.
Good for you, but...
Yeah.
Good for you. But you won't be joining them.
No, it's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold. It usually seems like it is for that moving in through the day. Let's look at weather. Here's the Sunrise Drive with Pete Bush.
Well, drive times continue to run normal throughout the metro, and it's free-flowing everywhere. We're crash-free, and the levels around the metro, I don't think they're going to grow any more than they have, and you have dry road conditions.
Perfect. Thank you.
Not. Thank you. All right, 6:32 to the news this half hour. The fiscal cliffhanger is coming down to this very last day in the nation's capital.
And could be beyond. We don't know.
Could.
The House and the Senate meet again today as lawmakers work to try to stop those automatic tax hikes and spending cuts that they set into action with the plan that they previously passed. It's supposed to happen tomorrow if they don't come up with a solution. KARE 11's Jeremiah Jacobson has a look ahead from the newsroom. Hi, Jeremiah.
Hi there, Kim and Tim. Yeah, senators are set to return to Capitol Hill at 10 o'clock this morning. They've been waiting to see if party leaders could come up with anything in closed-door and telephone conversations overnight. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell has turned to his longtime friend, Vice President Joe Biden, to try to broker some kind of fiscal deal. McConnell and Majority Leader Harry Reid, they haven't been able to agree on the income level for those possible tax increases or what to do about inheritance taxes. Those are two big sticking points right now. House members simply went home last night. They're waiting on the Senate to do something, and both sides have been blaming each other.
I think it's pretty obvious that the president has wanted and still wants us to go over the fiscal cliff.
They say that their biggest priority is making sure that we deal with the deficit in a serious way, but the way they're behaving is that their only priority is making sure that tax breaks for the wealthiest Americans are protected.
Well, economists have warned going off the cliff could trigger a new recession. But there was some progress on Capitol Hill yesterday. The House and Senate Ag Committees agreed to a one-year extension of the Farm Bill. That would keep the government from going back to an old dairy pricing policy. Milk prices could have doubled without that part of the deal, but a final vote still needs to happen in both houses of Congress, and so far, Kim and Tim, that hasn't even been scheduled yet. So even when they do agree, they haven't been able to agree just yet.
It is a mess. Jeremiah, thank you.
Sure.
All right. Well, another big story. People still in the afterglow of the Vikings win. Up next for the Vikings, another head-to-head battle with the Packers.
After defeating the Green and Gold in the nail-biter last night, the Vikes now move on to the playoffs. The Vikings had to win to stay alive. Green Bay, well, they were fighting for a week off. They wanted to get a bye, and that made for a playoff-like atmosphere. The Vikings, they led this contest throughout, but with less than 3 minutes to go, the Packers got a short touchdown pass from Aaron Rodgers to Jordy Nelson, and that tied the game at 34-all. But Christian Ponder and Adrian Peterson drive the Vikings down the field, setting up this with just 3 seconds left. Minnesota rookie Pro Bowl kicker Blair Walsh notches his fourth field goal of the game. It is the winner in a 37-34 Viking victory. Now the Purple Gang travels to Lambeau Field next Saturday night. Kickoff is at 7 a.m., and you can watch that game here and only here on KARE 11. Adrian Peterson, he finished with 199 yards rushing last night. That put him just 9 yards short of breaking Eric Dickerson's single-season mark of 2,108 yards set back in 1984, but it was enough to make AD just the seventh player to rush for 2,000 yards in a single season.
It is 6:35. A restaurant in Uptown Minneapolis is reaching out to help a neighbor in need. You probably saw this on Friday morning. A 100-year-old condo on Lake Street was destroyed by that raging fire Friday. Amore Victoria, the restaurant, is collecting basic necessities for the people who lived in that condo building and lost everything. And the restaurant is planning a silent auction and a benefit. That happens January 9th. It runs from 6 to midnight at the restaurant.
Tonight is, of course, New Year's Eve, and that might mean you're planning on having a couple of drinks. And if that's the case, you might also plan on finding a safe way to get home.
It's one of the hardest parts of the job, cutting people off, knowing where their limit is, because everyone...
Bartender Jennifer Berry telling KARE 11 New Year's Eve can be particularly difficult when it comes to partiers who are too drunk to make it home safely. Berry says bartenders are on the lookout and are ready to deal with intoxicated customers.
Making sure they get home safe. Sometimes they'll be like, I'm sorry, sir, can I call you a cab, or do you have someone here that can drive you?
Law enforcement also plans to boost patrols. The State Patrol says there have been 0 drunk driving deaths on New Year's Eve the past 4 years. and they would like to make it 5. One way to help that effort, Metro Transit is again offering free bus and light rail rides for New Year's Eve beginning at 6 p.m. tonight. Note, that does not include the North Star rail line. Last year, more than 37,000 people took advantage of a free ride.
6:36 right now. Funeral services are scheduled today for a firefighter who was gunned down in New York. 19-year-old Tomas Kachalka was one of 2 firefighters shot and killed during an ambush on Christmas Eve as they were responding to a house fire. Services for Michael Chiapparini were yesterday. Police say the suspect deliberately set the fire to set a trap for the first responders and then killed himself during a shootout with police. The body of the man who killed his mother, then gunned down 20 children and 6 women at a Connecticut elementary school, has been claimed for burial. Medical examiner says the remains of the 20-year-old man were claimed several days ago by someone who wanted to remain anonymous. Well, a unique New Year's celebration happens tonight in the nation's capital.
The Emancipation Proclamation will be displayed at midnight tonight in Washington, D.C. An event marking the document's 150th anniversary will include readings, songs, and bell ringing in conjunction with Watch Night services being held across the nation. The Watch Night tradition began on December 31st, 1862, as many black church congregations awaited word that the Emancipation Proclamation had taken effect amid the ongoing Civil War. If you'd like to get a real perspective on that, the movie Lincoln offers a tremendous perspective on that whole situation. There is a big attraction opening today at the Mall of America.
A cool one, and we mean it in every sense of the word. Still ahead, Brian Pyatt gives us an inside look at the ice castle they're building there and how you can enjoy it. And along with 2013, of course, comes new laws, including one that affects the kind of light bulbs you can have in your home. Details are coming up. And Ben Lieber's here. He's talking about the Vikings' victory and their road ahead in the playoffs. Sven?
Just talking about cold, missing another big storm to our south today, but temperatures here 13 degrees and falling. Enjoy that. We're not going to be back up around there until probably Wednesday afternoon. We'll tell you about the Arctic blast coming up.
Egan native and The Voice finalist Nicholas David got an honor during the Vikings game against the Packers. He blew the Jala horn to start the matchup, and he also sang God Bless America during halftime. And the game itself, exciting would be one word to describe it. And Ben Lieber is taking your questions right now on Facebook, and Tim's going to go back to the newsroom a little bit and sort of give us an update on that.
We can talk to him from the studio, actually, via the magic of TV.
Oh, the magic of TV. I like
yeah.
that. First, though, the frigid temperatures might not be so comfortable for our skin, but you know what? They're great news for the Ice Castle at the Mall of America.
After a longer building period, that display finally opens today to the public. Brian Pyatt joins us from the castle this morning. Brian's got more about something you can actually take home with you after you take your trek through the Ice Castle. Brian, what have you got?
You bet. Well, here's the deal. You can't take the ice castles home with you, unfortunately. That's what they look like here this morning, but there are these ice globe lanterns that you're going to see right outside, and they are all scattered throughout. Gives it a nice little feel here, and they were all created by Jennifer Hedberg with Wintercraft, a local company here, and she has actually created some of these globe ice lantern kits that you can purchase here and take them home with you. Jennifer, how do these work? So it opens up here today, the Ice Castles, at 4:30 today, I believe is when it all gets going. It's going to stay open at least through February 20th. There's the ticket prices for you. $10 for adults to get in, $6 for kids, Kim and Tim. They're also going to be doing some demonstrations out here. Jennifer is Wintercraft of how to do all these little ice globes. It's kind of, what a fun little thing to incorporate maybe into your front yard here this winter.
Ice is such a wonderful thing.
It is, and it holds very well in Minnesota. Little known fact.
Yeah, this time of year especially. Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian. Go warm
You
up.
bet.
Sven Sundgaard joining us right now at 6:45, and you're outside too,
Yeah,
you know.
look what I made out here.
Nice.
My snow machine, I was busy all night. Temperatures are starting out chilly and great ice making weather. We're in the lower teens. It's not so bad, but temperatures will be dropping through the day. Absolutely.
Thanks.
Yep.
13 minutes for the top of the hour. Let's find out where Peter Bush and his Sunrise Drive is.
Well, drivers have had it easy all morning long.
Thank you, Pete. Well, the future is dimming by the second for the incandescent light bulb. Starting tomorrow, 75-watt incandescents can't be made or imported to the U.S. Stores can continue to sell what's left on the shelves, part of a new government rule to save energy. You'll need to buy compact fluorescent bulbs, CFLs, or use an LED bulb. Just so you know, 100-watt incandescent bulbs already banned. 60 and 40-watt bulbs, those disappear, Tim, in 2014.
We'll miss them. It's the game that had both Packer and Viking fans alike on the edge of their seats. Former Minnesota Viking linebacker Ben Lieber has been chatting about the big game on Facebook throughout the morning. He was kind enough to get up early and come in. My question is anybody else up early talking about this game this morning, Ben?
Oh, it's been great to talk about it. I mean, I'm with the majority. I think they can go in this game and win the first playoff game and move on to the next one.
You're going to hang around for 10 minutes or so and talk on Facebook. And before you left, I just wanted to say you were a great addition to our Vikings coverage this year. It was wonderful having your perspective and a wonderful addition in 2012. Happy New Year.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Appreciate that very much. Ben Lieber going to stick around for 10 minutes or so, Kim, before we send him off into the Great White North.
Well, he'll stay until the Vikings go to the Super Bowl this year.
Hope.
Yeah. Sven's going to be back with another look at the New Year's Eve forecast, and it's a little chilly outside, but we're going to tell you why now is the time to start making your summer plans. Plus, University of Minnesota continuing to think about its tuition rates for some out-of-state students. We'll have details. NHL, remember them? Labor talks expected to resume today. Representatives from the league and the players' union did meet yesterday, and then the union met amongst their members to discuss a new offer from the league. It reportedly includes several changes from a previous offer and is contingent on a 48-game regular season that would start January 19th. 9 people were killed, more than 20 injured after this tour bus going through Oregon crashed down through a guardrail and down a steep embankment. The bus was headed from Las Vegas to Vancouver, British Columbia yesterday morning when it lost control in an icy patch of interstate near Pendleton. Some 40 people were on board the bus when the bus slid 100 feet down the ravine. People in Iraq on high alert after terrorist attacks. A blast in a busy street killed at least 3 people and injured several more. This comes as thousands of Muslim pilgrims make their way to an annual religious festival. Security there says the pilgrims are a frequent target of extremists. And U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton being treated for a blood clot at a hospital in New York. Doctors found the clot yesterday during a follow-up visit for a concussion Clinton suffered after she passed out after suffering with a stomach virus. Spokesperson says Clinton will likely remain in the hospital through at least tomorrow. Serious situation.
Hope that she recovers. Sven Sundgaard joining us now. Give a look at the weather, Sven.
Yeah, dropping temperatures today for the last day of the year.
Thank you, sir.
Well, it is December. It's cold, but it's not too easy to start early to start thinking about summer. That's because St. Paul's Great Picnic Pick is at hand.
Kim's talking about the lottery for park permits for 2013. It happens this week. That special lottery for residents to have first pick of reservations happens Wednesday morning. The applicant must be present at St. Paul Permit Office at 6 a.m. to win a permit. Those who don't take part in the lottery, well, they have to wait until February to reserve their space. You got to earn it. Well, the U of M is taking another look at the bargain they offer out-of-state students.
Yeah, too much of a bargain, according to some. University of Minnesota started offering some out-of-state students tuition rates that weren't that much higher than what residents were paying. This started 4 years ago to attract undergrads from other states. President Eric Kaler telling the Star Tribune now the university will take a look at what increasing tuition for out-of-staters could mean for the school's bottom line. That is, tuition has been increasing for residents here. We'll be right back.
We still have 17 hours and change to go, but in parts of the world it is already 2013. Check out this festive scene from Auckland, New Zealand, where they rang in the new year at 5 a.m. our time. Samoa, tiny nation in the South Pacific, was the first in the world to ring in 2013. Other islands of the Pacific, they'll be the last to ring in the new year. It happened a day later.
Sydney is in 20 seconds. How about the weather?
Well, there it's summer, so it's great.
Nice.
But here it's going to be cold tonight. Temperatures will be sub-zero by midnight.
All right. That does it for us. We're back at 7:26, and there is Sydney as we speak.
Happy New Year, everybody.